Hello everyone, I'm Romaric, CEO and co-founder of Qovery. I'm super excited to have you today to show you how you can get full stack preview environments with Qovery and Neon. And before we get started, let's jump into the subject. So just before, quickly an explanation of what's Qovery. So Qovery is an internal developer platform. You might be or not familiar with that concept, but basically we help platform engineering teams inside organizations providing the right experience to the developers to deploy right away their applications and manage like their infrastructure. So just quickly, I will focus during that talk on the preview environment feature. I will explain just after what it is exactly, but what you can just keep in mind is that Qovery provides an outstanding developer experience. We really do focus on providing the experience that developers expect at the end of the day to manage their applications and be a bit more autonomous. Qovery is a product that you can install on your infrastructure, meaning on Kubernetes and your cloud infrastructure like AWS, GCP, and other in just 30 minutes. You don't need to have like a specific knowledge to benefit from the platform. We do provide out-of-the-box ephemeral environments, preview environments features, so that's what we are going to dig into. And Qovery fits perfectly well into your existing technical environments, meaning Git and so on and so forth. So it's a product that is used by more than 100 companies around the world. We have more than 50,000 developers, and you will just see why it's the case after that. But before getting into the details of how preview environments works with Qovery, I just want to focus on that part that is when we talk about integrating into an existing environment, meaning it just means that as a developer, you want just to focus on what you do at best, building great applications. You are using existing tools. So Git providers, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. You have maybe a CI/CD pipeline in place. Basically, you can connect Qovery to all those elements and right away deploying your application. I will show you how to manage all of that from the web interface, but we have also other interfaces like a CLI, we have a Terraform provider, and we even have a public API that is accessible, right? So just before, you might be familiar with preview environments or not, but basically what we try to solve with that feature is the ability to spin up to avoid that kind of situation actually. Which is you have many developers that they are working on the same environments, the good old staging environment that is shared across different developers. The more you have people working on that, and the more likely you have to get some issues by sharing that environment. So let's say that Jason has break that environment because it has released a new feature that is breaking everything. Then everyone is impacted basically, and that's what the preview environments feature solve in some way, is the ability to create and get a dedicated environment, isolated environment for every single features that you are working on. It's a concept that is well known by users that are using Vercel, Netlify, those kind of platforms, even HeroQ. But here, the main advantage and the main concept is that we do manage full stack preview environment, meaning that it's not only the front-end applications that will be created like in another another like dedicated URL, but it's the full environment, meaning that if you have a backend, you have a front end, you have the database, Postgres for instance, then it's the whole applications that are working all together. So the full environment that will be duplicated into an isolated environment for the time living of that pull request. So here, for instance, if you create a new branch inside, let's say Git, so you have a new branch, you open up a new pull request, what will happen is that Qovery will hook that pull request and will create a dedicated preview environment for that pull request. Then from that, it will be isolated. You will be able just to test out this new feature, okay? And this is where Neon also comes by, and I will explain why it does make sense just using Neon with Qovery. But basically, you will have a fully dedicated environment for testing out this feature, okay? Once it's done, So you close your pull request, you merge it, then you have validated that everything is working as you do expect. What will happen is that, again, Qovery will take care of tearing down and cleaning up all resources allocated for that preview environment. So the backend, frontend, the databases with Neon as well, you will see, will be teared down and just clean up. All the resources will be released, basically, okay? So just quickly, why does it make sense using Qovery and Neon? So as I mentioned, you can spin up Postgres, for instance, databases, but any kinds of databases with Qovery. The thing is that more than 90% of our users are using Postgres. And one thing that happens is that when you have when you spin up a new environment, you need to have some data inside your database just to test out the feature. And this is where the Neon branching systems comes in. It's really powerful. First, Neon is a serverless solution, so you don't need to have like extra resources just to run the database on your infrastructure, okay? And by using this Neon branching system, what you get is that you can get a full copy of your data from the base Neon instance that is running into another like instance just for the branch. So it's really powerful. That's exactly what I'm going to show you with Qovery. And obviously it's 100% compatible with Postgres. So it's a drop-in replacement from your actual Postgres database, and it works perfectly well with Qovery. So let me show you that just quickly. So what we are going to do is exactly that. We have defined inside Qovery a blueprint environments that you can see here. Okay, so with to-do applications, that is full stack applications, backend and frontend is the Java application. And this one will be connected to a Neon instance. Okay, so I assume that you're already a bit familiar with Neon. Okay, so you just need to have an account. I'm using just the free version of Neon, so you will see if you want to play with all of that, you can do it for free. Even Qovery, you have a free tier. Okay. And basically, we have like a dedicated URL for that environment. This blueprint environment is our base environment that will be used when we'll create a new branch. Okay, so when we'll create a new branch, we'll create a new pull request, and Qovery will hook again that pull request and create a new environment for that one. And what you will see is that we will get the data from that instance into this instance, but actually it's a completely fully isolated instance, meaning that all the operations that we'll make here, so creating new task into our application here, will be only reflected for that instance and not for this instance or neither this instance. And we'll create another branch as well, where we'll just change the background. So here we'll have the background in blue, the background in red, and we'll do exactly the same changes. So that's something that is very common for our users, creating multiple environments, testing environments, preview environments for every single features that they are working on. And with Neon, the big value is that you get access to the data from your base instance in no time. That's really good. Meaning that you don't need to seed your database after that's been created. You get it already, all of that for free. So let's jump into Qovery now. So as I mentioned, I've defined my blueprint environment. You see, so this blueprint environment is working well. So it has been deployed. We have deployed our Neon Postgres. Our application is even running. So I've tested out this environment. If I open the URL of that one, you see my application is a dedicated URL. My application is running perfectly well. Okay, I can even add new task. This is Neon Dev Days, and you see it's working perfectly well. I'm going to show you just quickly, manually speaking, because we have a feature that we name a clone. Then after that, I will show you with the pull request system. But I can duplicate that environment, okay, in just one click and say that Dev Days environment. Let's say it's a Dev Day environment. So this environment is a new environment based with the blueprint environment. So I can just deploy that one, and we'll see that we'll have a new instance, Neon instance, that will be created. Okay. So just quickly, here inside the Neon, so I'm connected to my Neon, you see I have my blueprint instance, database instance that is running, okay? I can even check the data from that instance, and you see I have exactly all the data, even the data that I've just inserted. This is Neon Dev Database, okay? What will happen now is, because I'm starting out a new instance, so you see, okay, so, and I'm going to show you how it works, because it's very easy. But here what happened is that we have a script that is executed, okay, to spin up the Neon Postgres instance, basically. Because in Qovery, inside Qovery, what you can do is that you can put inside your environment any kinds of resources, even scripts that they are going to execute some commands when you execute them to do whatever you want. Here, in that case, what we have done is that we have just defined what we call a lifecycle job, okay? That is just saying that, yeah, when you start up this service inside Qovery, just execute that script, create a branch.sh. This script I will show you is just composed of a few Neon CTL commands to create the branch based on the base environment that we have. And here, when we delete that service and the environment, the delete branch script will be executed to tear down and clean up the resources from Postgres perspective, you see. So, and the execution order looks like this. Okay, so we have the stage 1 for the database and the to-do app that is in the stage 2. And, okay, so if I go back here, oh, you see, my Neon Postgres has been, script has been executed, and everything is perfectly done. You see, so here we have our branch, so the DevDays branch that is now created and running perfectly well. And the parent branch is the blueprint. So if I look this branch, we have exactly the same data. And I'm going to show you that, obviously, with the application once it's running. So it's building, you see. Okay, so the application has been taken directly from Git. So the new version is in building state. And once it will be ready, we'll be able to play with the applications and change the data, and you will see that it doesn't change the data from the base branch. Okay, so we can wait just a few seconds. Yeah, it takes some time sometimes. Just after that, I will show you how you can create the preview environment system. So it's just to illustrate with the action, the manual actions, then you can exactly get what I did. So our application is starting, so it's done, it has been built, so that's great. You see the application is coming from Git, and now is in deployment state. Okay, so we can look at the live logs, and we see that our application is starting now. Okay, so it's starting. Yes. Perfect. So under the hood, what happened is that Qovery creates, take care of everything, like creating, so the environment on Kubernetes is the namespace, the network part, the ingress controller, the TLS certificates, exposing the application that has been configured. So we have configured the environment variables, the different elements here, define the port of the application. So if we want to expose, and under the hood, Qovery takes care of everything for us. And now we can see that our application is running perfectly well. And what we can do is just basically opening up this link. So we didn't change anything for that one, but actually what I can show you is that if we click here and we have validated that this task has been done, this is another environment. You see, I'm adding the value here. What you see, the value here. So first we have the value from, so the data from the base environment, you see, okay? But if we go back to our blueprint environment, to the application here, and I open this application, you see that the data has not been modified. They have not been modified from the other instances. That's really like the beauty. And right away, you get access to all of that, which is very, very convenient to test out your new features on real data. That's really powerful. So now, let's say that I want to show you, so because the purpose is like really the preview environments for every single pull request that you're creating, you want to dedicated environment. So how it looks like? It looks like this, very simple. When you are inside the blueprint environment, what you can do is that you can turn on the preview environment features. Turning it on means that Qovery will start to hook your repositories, and just for every single pull request that you will create, you will have the opportunity to create a new dedicated environment. This is actually something that you can control right from the pull request with the create on demand features that is turned on here. I'm going to show you. So let's say that we are inside our to-do application. Okay, the main branch is the master branch for that repository. Let's say that I want to modify the background. Okay, we want to have a red background. So what we can do is that I can get into my application to do HTML, and actually I can just change those values by the value to get just a red background, a pure red background. Okay, so I can commit the change, create a new branch, and let's say now it's core background. The branch name is background in red. Okay, so update to do for red background. Okay, so I can create that branch, the pull request, hey, this is a new PR. Okay, so look, I created the pull request now. Okay, so the pull request, look, Qovery has hooked this repository actually. Okay, you get a message from Qovery saying, hey, do you know what? This repository is hooked by Qovery. If you want to get a preview environment, you can create a preview environment for that one. No problem. So what I can do is that I can just basically execute. So that's the create on demand feature. I can say that, yes, I want a preview environment and I want to use my blueprint environment as a base environment for that one. So here, I can just click here. I can put that command, so copy paste the command with the UID and just say, hey, I want that environment. And here you see what happened is that Qovery is just putting a comment saying that, hey, a new environment has been created, right? So I can go back here. Yes, I have two environments because I have like messed up with like some stuff, but basically you have a new environment that has been created. You see here with the red background. And that's perfect because if I look at the to-do app, you see the branch here on the right, so I can show you here, is the new branch, background in red, basically. So in a few moments, what will happen is that we'll be able to try out and visualize that the background has changed in the color red with the Neon Postgres instance that is based on the blueprint instance that we have. So the data will still be there, and I will be able to try out this new change with some existing data. You see, so I can check and wait for just a few moments. That one, so you see, again, the script has been built, and now it's in execution. So we can look at that. Yes, that's great. Okay, so if we go back to, you see, that's perfect. We have our blueprint update to do red background here, a branch on Neon. So we even have the data, so that's great. Okay, and in a few moments, again, like I've just shown before, we'll get our instance of our to-do app with the new version that would be up and running with a dedicated URL. So let's wait just a few moments. So again, we are building the application. So the application is cloned from GitHub. Then it's in building state. Then it will be pushed into the container registry, then deployed on my Kubernetes cluster. The network will be configured, ingress controller, TLS provided, everything connected to the right instance of Postgres on Neon, and then exposed basically. Okay, it takes some time. It's really depending on the application. So here it's the Java application. You see that it's downloading tons of dependencies, Maven dependencies. You can also connect your CI/CD and your container registry. Okay, so if you have a CI/CD in place and you push the container into your container registry, you can just trigger the deployment from that container image directly on Qovery. It works well. There's no problem. But here's for the demo purpose. So you see it's exporting the layers from my Docker image and then pushing that into my container registry. So you see, you don't need to be an expert in anything. It just works. It just works. If you want to see exactly what happens under the hood, by the way, Qovery is like the engine, deployment engine is open source. It's all explained. You can get like a deeper look on what happens under the hood. So here we are deploying the application. Perfect. By the way, if you have multiple services, so it works with microservices, monorepo as well. You have some optimizations that they are provided. And if you have many services, we have customers that they have dozens, 20, 30 services that are, the components and the services are deployed in parallel. Okay, so there is no problem. So yes, so deployment state. So the container is in starting mode. So it has been deployed now, you see. So we can take a look at the logs. We have access to the logs of the applications, right, from this interface. And it's working well, you see. So we have the green check. And if we open the URL, ta-da! And you see, we even have access to our data. That's great. Perfect. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. If we modify, obviously, the data here, so we put them all checked, and we go back to our environment, the blueprint one, you will see that nothing has been changed here. That's the beauty. That's the pure beauty of using a Neon, because it's really fast. You get access to the same data as the base environment, and it's really, really convenient to test like the new feature with real data. Okay, so if I go back now, let's say that I want, okay, I validated all of that. That's great. I want just to merge or close the pull request. Let's say that I'm closing the pull request. What will happen? You will see. So now, because I've closed that, you remember, look, the status is changing, delete queued. So now Qovery will take care of deleting all the resources. So even the Postgres, so the Neon resources, and the data in the application itself. You see, so we'll see in a few moments. So we can just check and take a look at that. See, yes. So in a few moments, we'll see a new message saying that the resources has been released. Okay, we can just click here, branches, and you see the branches has already disappeared. So the resources have been released, and that's great. If I want to show you, so that's perfect. It just works perfectly well for the full workflow. If you want to take a deeper look of what looks like the script, so we have written an article explaining all of that, obviously. Okay, you can just take a deeper look. You have access to everything from that. But basically, the script that is executed to spin up a Neon instance is that one. Okay, so it's just Neon commands that are executed, basically. Okay, and same for the deletion of the branch, so the Neon branch. Okay, so super easy. It's all explained. We have an article explaining all of that. Okay, so that's great. So just to summarize all of that, Qovery preview environment is perfectly well for testing out new feature. If you want to avoid like sharing the same staging environment, the same environment across, and your team is growing, then that's perfectly well fitted for that. You can get an isolated environment for every single pull request. By using the Neon Postgres branches system, you can get access to the data from a base instance, Neon instance, which is very, very convenient. It avoids you just to seed your database with dumb like data. So it's read data. You can be sure that when you merge back your preview environment and you have validated the features that you were working on, then it will work as you do expect, because it will be exactly the same data, but without impacting the base instance. And Neon Postgres is a drop-in replacement of Postgres, so it's coming for free. So if you're already using Postgres, then you can just use Neon. It will just work. One more point is that maybe you're familiar with other terminology. Preview environment is also sometimes called ephemeral environments, dynamic environments. If you're using Vercel, as I mentioned, and Netlify, they call that features deploy preview. The only thing that is changing is that the concept of preview environment, ephemeral environment is really for full stack based environment, meaning that you have all the services that are inside this environment. Something that I didn't show with Qovery is that you can spin up any kind of resources. You can even execute Terraform script if you want to spin up SQS instances, different cloud services, BigQuery or whatever. You can do all of that. It's really made for full stack applications, okay? Which is not the case with deploy preview from Vercel, that they're only focusing on front-end application. Here, you can really deploy any kinds of application. And it's a bit different also from review app system from Heroku that is based for supporting only one application. Here, you understand that you can deploy as many as you want. You can put as many as you want application inside the same environment. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this talk. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. I will be super happy to respond to all your questions. I'm available on X, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And if you want to play by yourself with Qovery and Neon, just feel free to register on the playground. It's a free environment that you get. There is no credit card required, just your email, and then you can get access to Qovery for free. So I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I wish you a very good day. Bye.